His Majesty King Kalākaua was the first head of state to circumnavigate the globe in 1881. Before departing, Kalākaua made several stops around his kingdom to express the goals and intentions of his trip around the world, which was to find immigrant laborers and to increase the population and industry of Hawaii. He was enthusiastically received, and many editorials were printed in Hawaiian newspapers, offering prayers for a successful journey and a safe return home. Kalākaua named his sister Liliʻuokalani Princess Regent, giving her the authority to rule the kingdom while he was abroad. At 7 o'clock on the morning of January 20th, 1881, escorted by the King's Guard, Kalākaua, Colonel Charles Judd, and William N. Armstrong left the palace to board the steamship City of Sydney, bound for San Francisco, California. Kalākaua and his traveling party entered San Francisco Bay on Saturday, January 29, 1881. He began his worldwide tour traveling incognito, using the title of Prince rather than King to avoid the obligatory pomp and circumstance, in order to focus on the purpose of his tour. In spite of this, word quickly spread, and Kalākaua was called to attend several social gatherings, including a meeting with Governor George C. Perkins, as well as both houses of the legislature. The Japanese minister in Washington sent word via telegraph to his country, and Japanese dignitaries prepared quite a welcoming for the king's arrival at Yokohama. While in Japan, he was hosted by the emperor, attended a private show at Shinto Misa Theater, visited military academies, surveyors' facilities, paper factories, Buddhist temples, and he attended a Christian service at a church that Hawaii congregations helped to build. He also supported a treaty between Hawaii and Japan to promote a positive alliance. On March 25th, the steamship Tokyo Maru arrived at the mouth of the harbor of Shanghai. In the early morning of the 29th, the royal party arrived in Tientsin to meet with the Chinese viceroy. The group made stops in Hong Kong, where they visited British colonies and met with British dignitaries. During this time, they also had discussions about the import of laborers to Hawaii. Kalākaua's visit to Siam, Singapore, and Burma included a meeting with King Chulalongkorn and Maharaja Abu Akbar of Johor, as well as discussions of labor import. Most of Kalākaua's stay in India was occupied with sightseeing, but it was noted that Indian laborers were greatly desired by sugar plantations. To get to Egypt, the party traveled on the Suez Canal, and Kalākaua was said to have greatly admired it. While there, he met with Tufik Pasha, the Khedive of Egypt. The king visited Naples, where he was hosted by King Umberto. While there, he met with Robert Boyd and James Booth, who were sent to be educated overseas in Kalākaua's Hawaiian Youths Abroad program. The king continued to Rome, where he saw the Colosseum and met with Pope Leo XIII. While visiting London, Kalākaua had a private audience with Queen Victoria at Windsor Palace. Impressed by his firm grasp of English, the Queen inquired where he was educated, to which Kalākaua proudly responded that he, along with all members of the royal family, were schooled in Hawaii. Kalākaua met with several prominent British leaders while in England, where he took full advantage to raise Hawaii's enlightened status. While visiting Scotland, Kalākaua made sure to express his appreciation of the Scots who made Hawaii their home. Some of these prominent Scotsmen included longtime Minister of Foreign Affairs Robert Wiley and Kalākaua's own brother-in-law Archibald Cleghorn. Kalākaua met with both King Leopold II of Belgium and Wilhelm II of Germany. During his stay, he took tours of military industries. Kalākaua's time in France was spent meeting with foreign ministers and sightseeing. He also attended the Exposition of Electricity in Paris. While visiting Portugal and Spain, Kalākaua discussed a treaty with the Portuguese, expanded labor imports, met with King Louis I, and toured Madrid. The king arrived in New York, where he met Thomas Edison. He visited the famed horse stables in Kentucky and eventually returned to San Francisco, where he was welcomed by his royalist friends. Back home in Hawaii, Liliʻuokalani took reins of the government amidst a smallpox outbreak in Honolulu and a Mauna Loa lava flow that threatened the town of Hilo. The king returned home early on October 29, 1881, and once again sees his people in Coal Harbor. He is joyously received by his kingdom with a parade and decorated arches across Honolulu. Upon his return, the king remarked,
"Ua hele aʻe nei au ma ke ao nei a puni. Ua ike I nā hoʻokipa a me nā hoʻohiwahiwa ʻana a nā lā hui nui. Akā, I koʻu he hihou ʻana I ke one hānau aloha. Eia kā, o Hawaii no ka ʻoi."
As a result of his world tour, the kingdom continued to maintain relationships with foreign powers, importing foreign laborers and increasing the population of Hawaii. The king's time spent with Thomas Edison led to electricity being installed at Iolani Palace and eventually the streets of Honolulu. As he traveled to those distant corners of the world, Kalākaua took with him the prestige of his tiny kingdom and exemplified his distinguished intelligence, proving that he was a king to be respected.